make headlines in F1 2018. A greater career mode depth, more classic cars, and the release date. Let's get into it. So as of today, Tuesday, the 15th of May, 2018, Codemasters and Koch Media have announced to the world that F1 2018, the official video game, is now going to be a thing. I have a press release from Codemasters themselves, so thank you very much for sending that out to me. And they've also sent me the logo, which you can see on screen right there. It'll probably be the thumbnail, it'll probably be the background, whatever, so you can see it in greater detail. Let's talk about the logo while we've got it as the center focus. Personally, I don't really like it that much. Like, the official F1 logo, just the red part is fine, but the 2018, it looks a little bit hard to read for me, and I don't know, I'm not a fan of it. I don't know, it might grow on me, but for me, I just feel like it doesn't really look, doesn't look right, but it might grow on me just like the official F1 logo did, so we'll wait and see. But let's get stuck into it. This is from Codemasters themselves, like I mentioned. Paul Gilles, the franchise director at Codemasters, said, "We were delighted by the reception that the highly acclaimed F1 2017 game received and are extremely excited to be able to further build upon such a strong starting point with F1 2018. Over the past few years, we have engaged heavily with our fan base to understand what is important to them, and we cannot wait to unveil more details on features we know our fans will love. Career mode has been further expanded upon to immerse players even deeper into the world of F1 than ever before, with the return of a highly requested feature back in the franchise." It's right there in the title. Make headlines in F1 2018. It has to be press interviews, maybe press like driver podiums after the race if you get on the podium, the press conferences and stuff. That's got to be it. Like, press and just interaction with news outlets and maybe even other teams like we saw on F1 2010 and 2011, I believe. And with that, maybe we might see greater interaction within the world of Formula One. So, for example, the kind of paddock areas might be back. Who knows, we might even be able to walk around in the paddock. That is potentially a bit of a pipe dream, but that would be an absolute dream to have. But yeah, it's got to be. Like, it's right there, plain and simple, black and white for you to see. Huge hint dropped right there. As for the release date, it is August the 24th, 2018. So one day earlier than last year, it was August 25th. There were maybe rumors that the game was going to be delayed a little bit later, maybe even into September, maybe even October, because this has come as a bit of I feel like it's a late announcement of the game. I feel like in years gone by, the game has been announced in like April, sometimes even March. So I was thinking maybe it was going to be pushed back. We had no word on pre-alpha testing. No one was invited out to test the game early. That said to me that then maybe there was less of a focus on career mode this year. That's probably clearly not the case. They are clearly working on career mode. They said it's going to be even deeper than what it's ever been before. And with the rise of F1 esports, I felt like that was the direction that the F1 game was going to go in this year. And it probably still is the case. And those are some of the more exciting updates that I'm waiting for. But it's good to see that right off the bat that career mode still remains a focus at Codemasters and going forward for the F1 franchise. So going back to what Paul Gilles said, he said that they've listened very heavily to fan feedback over the years in relation to some of the classic cars. So they're looking to include more classic cars. For me, 100%, this speaks volumes to me that they have to include the 2009 Brawn GP car driven by Jenson Button and Rubens Barrichello. It's just an iconic car. It was missing in last year's game. For the most part, all the other classic cars over the last 30 years, I feel like for the most part were included, with maybe the exception of the 2006 Renault by Fernando Alonso, but his 05 Renault was in there, so a bit of a cop out there, but you can still very similar cars, so you're not really missing out there. So I feel like 2009 Brawn GP car has to be in there. I'm willing to bet the house on it. Apart from any other classic cars, like I said, there's none really that really speak out to me as oh, that's going to be in the game. So if you guys have any ideas as to what classic cars they are going to include, feel free to let me know. I feel like they have all of the iconic championship winning ones in there, so maybe they're looking to just diversify more cars from that era, so more cars from the late, mid, early 2000s. So I'm hoping that we can just really expand upon the depth of cars we already have, so that maybe we can have like a full grid of 2007 cars, a full grid of 2008 cars, I'm not too sure, or at least more cars from that era, so that we can at least have a full grid of very competitive, very closely matched classic cars, so that we can have a full-blown race and it not be so diversified in their pace. It feels less like class racing like in GT disciplines, for example, and so we're going to just have it feels like a normal F1 race with like 20 odd cars that are all fairly evenly matched in pace. That's kind of what I want to see in the classics, just to make it feel a bit more worthwhile, because that's the thing, there's not enough classic cars and they're all too far spread apart when you try and drive them in either online or whatever. So yeah, hopefully that has been sorted out. But yeah, that's pretty much everything from this announcement today. There's no screenshots, there's no gameplay, no trailer, but I imagine that stuff is going to be coming very soon. So make sure you subscribe to the channel to see all that stuff, turn on notifications, leave a like on this video as well if you want to see more videos like this. And I'll try and cover that stuff as soon as all that comes out. So what do you make of today's news? The release date, still fairly much the same as what we're used to. So it's going to be on the Friday of the Belgian Grand Prix. So pretty good timing to release it. In all honesty, we might see some gameplay emerge in the next few weeks whenever, you know, more of the European races start to come into it. I'd imagine there's got to be something going on around like maybe Silverstone kind of time. We'll see more gameplay of like drivers driving around tracks and stuff like that. So keep an eye out for that, and especially like with F1 esports going on this year, like there's got to be a huge focus on online, and those are, like I said, some of the features that I'm kind of more excited to see going forward when it comes to talking about the F1 2018 game. So hopefully they can entertain the masses in that side of the market, because we've had the focus of single player and career mode all for the last few years. Now it's time for online, hopefully, to get that focus as well and really reward those guys who are in, you know, league racing, who are competitive racers, who are trying to qualify for F1 esports. We need a more stable platform to compete upon, and hopefully F1 2018 will be just that going forward. But guys, that's been it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed. Maybe a short video, I'm not too sure. But leave your comments, what you think, which classic cars are going to be in. Are there any features you want to see in F1 2018 or 2019? Because if you want to see things in future games going forward, I feel like now is the time to talk about those, and that'll be a consideration later. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next video, I'll see you next time.
When the lights go down.